Yourself.
I'm
You
well.
are looking well this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You have a date today.
Yes, I have a date.
You have a date. With who?
With
Explain.
Jesus Christ.
With who?
Jesus.
Nadid.
Yes. Why?
Where is the venue? I want to be.
Oh, don't worry, it's heaven. It's heaven. Would you want to go to heaven with me?
Yes. Everybody want to go to heaven.
You that you are a Muslim, you want to go to heaven. Is there heaven?
Yes, everybody will go to heaven. Yeah.
But your heaven is
There's only one heaven in Australia.
Your heaven is different from our own.
It's not different.
You are here.
It's just like you going to your house. Somebody decide to use trotro. Okay. Somebody decide to use Uber.
Others will use private
taxi.
Car. Okay. So
others decide to walk.
No wala.
Or you use a bicycle.
Cool.
At the end of the day, you'll be at your destination.
Fantastic.
So that's how it works.
Well done. Well done. All right. So let's talk about yesterday's court hearing.
Sure.
Jakpa, the Attorney General, did the last cross-examination.
Yes.
Of Richard Jakpa, and interestingly, the Judicial Service gave us a feel of what was happening inside the courtroom via the Zoom link.
Yes.
But generally, I mean, not many people, because I think you could only accommodate 500 at a time.
Yes.
So not many people could have still joined.
Yes.
So how did it go yesterday?
So at a point
were there fireworks?
Absolutely. At a point in time, it dawned on us that it could be that you notice at a point in time, Dr. Kaysel Atuforsin sent a petition to the Chief Justice, and he was asking for a live broadcast of proceedings after Mr. Jakpa made the allegation. So we didn't hear anything up until yesterday. And so yesterday when the matter was called, we didn't even know that there was something like that happening. But we saw the movement in the courtroom. The IT officials were moving up and down. So at one point in time, we're being informed that a virtual link has been generated. And so for those who did not have the opportunity to be in the courtroom can join. So anybody who has it, who get the opportunity, you can just share it. So you notice that immediately the information, I got the link, we shared it, and it was for a limited number. Apparently only 500 people. And because of the interest in the whole thing, within the twinkle of an eye, everybody. So I had situations where people were sending the link, Charlie 500, and then we cannot continue again. It's sealed. So that was what happened. I made a call made a point that the quality is I know that the judiciary is striving hard to ensure that the e-justice especially, they are able to leverage on technology to improve situations like that. But the point is, for how long were they planning to go virtual in relation to this very case? So if they decided that enough time ahead, probably it would have solved the situation absolutely. But I'm sure
it felt like it was something that was done in the spur of the moment.
That's how it felt when you are in the courtroom, because if it was something that was planned much more earlier, everything would have been settled. I know that in the course of the legal vacation, when they are doing the virtual sitting, ahead of time, you know the link to join. So even before the court is getting ready to sit, all those things are prepared. So you can even join and be waiting for the court to sit. That's how it works. But yesterday's one was much different from the situation. So I'm sure that it's something that they will look at it in the court. But this is the first time and for the second time that a case at the High Court has been allowed to go out in the manner in which it did. Okay. The first one was another leg of the anti-LGBTQ, which is pending at the High Court, filed by a farmer and all that. And then yesterday, this one happened. So it was from that point, Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Damieh stepped up and to cross Mr. Richard Jakpa, because the indication was that yesterday was the last opportunity for the state or the prosecution or the republic to conclude their cross-examination of Mr. Jakpa. So the timeline that Justice Ifiase Wasarebuchi set was from 12 o'clock to 3:15. So by 3:15, the Attorney General was expected to conclude with Mr. Jakpa. Whether they are done or not, they are supposed to conclude. If you ask why he's saying that, even if I give you 5 hours, 15 hours, 10 days, 1 month, you will still not finish. Yeah. So you have to finish by that time. And it was quite interesting. You notice that following from the last court sitting One of the things that the Attorney General was trying to establish was that Mr. Jakpa received some amount of 700,000 euros, which is in percentage terms, 28.7% of the contract sum. And so if you quantify that money, that went to, so if you look at the principal money, what they did was that he and some the parties involved, they asked it to took about 50% of the principal sum. That is how come they did not procure qualified ambulances to come, and then what they brought were more like, it has been described as defective and unfit for purpose. So because they took 50% of the contract sum, that's how can they deliver the poor vehicles or ambulances. But Mr. Jakpa said that was not the situation. In fact, he's been consistent with the fact that you don't go out there and say you are buying ambulances. You can't get anything like ambulances, but you procure vehicles and you convert them into ambulances. So you can use a container, you can use a boboya, you can use a motorbike too, of a sort, to create an ambulance. So that was the kind of thing that he was detailing before the court. And the Attorney General was also keen to say that, look, if you look at the contract, it didn't follow due diligence, documentation and other stuff that they were giving to Mr. Jakpa. Some of them he could not trace where indeed some of the contract or some of the terms were detailed as per what has been put before the court. But long and short is that the letter of credits, which formed the basis of which monies were expended, were released. The Attorney General made the point that there was nowhere that the Ministry of Health or the Minister of Health gave routes to the Ministry of Finance to generate or for the Ministry of Finance to establish a letter of credit. And he said that, look, yes, you cannot find that letter from the Ministry of Health. However, the opinion of the Attorney General at the time, and he said that particular opinion was authored by Dominic Ayeni, was to the effect that if you don't comply with those provisions in the contract, what government stands to do or to suffer a some judgment debt. So the provisions within it clearly shows that the Ministry of Finance was directed to establish the letter of credit. So that is how come those things came. And then the Deputy Attorney General, Deputy Finance Minister, at the time, Dr. Kesela Tuforsin, said he wrote that letter on the authorization of the Minister of Finance at the time, Mr. Tettey. But the Attorney General's position was that Dr. Kasela Tuforsin did that on his own, and because they know that they were going to benefit from the contract sum and all that, that's how can they deliver the poor service, poor ambulances, poor vehicles that did not fit for purpose. And one of the things that he's also been saying was, look, when the said vehicles were brought, officials of Big C were supposed to come down, inspect, and make sure that the ambulances were in order before it is handed over to government. That has not been done. So for him, Jakpa, he's even wondering where the Attorney General, the government, or those who conducted the text managed how they did it to even come out to say that they have done a test and realize that the ambulances are not fit for purpose. He also make a mention that if you look at some of the things that were brought, governments was looked on concern because it was not the present government that brought it. It was the NDC administration that brought it. And they want their businessmen to also benefit from transactions and all that. So yesterday in all, Mr. Jakpa's cross-examination has been concluded now. So what it means now is that he will no longer speak in court by way of evidence, anything, nothing. He's done. But he has witnesses to call. But before we talk about the witnesses that he has to call, let's go and listen to him, the man himself, Mr. Richard Jakpa, the third accused person, a businessman who is in the witness box, and yet he'll still decide to give you some position or his position of what the trial is so far.
Below the, but what I'm trying to tell that they were legally incompetent, very inept at arguing their case. You were in court. You saw that he was bringing documents and he was even confused. He didn't even understand that there is an LC account in a bank. And the LC is established from the account of the bank, from the account of the LC. So there's difference between 15 and over million and 3.9 billion, which was meant for the first 50 tranche, which came from million, which came from the ministry. And the man was telling the court that debit and credit balance, which was open and closed, and the charges in the bank, that was the LC. That is completely, it's just pathetic. And you were there and I had to educate him that, my brother, that is the account of the LC. But the LC that the Minister of Finance signed was 3.95 million euros at the summer point. That is 1/4 of the money that was in the open balance. That is over 50 million euros. So the real LC was a 3.95 million euros, which at the back of the page, you have the condition precedent. But on the opening balance, there's no condition precedent because it was just the Ghana International Bank opening the LC account for all the 15 million euros for the 200. And out of it, they removed the 50 cost of the ambulances for the next LC of 3.9. And this Attorney General, he cannot decipher. He can't even interpret common LC documents. And I on the audio that I released, you realize I educated on the LC. And I was expecting that today he would have come well informed, even get consultants to school him proper. But he still came there and came and repeated the same ignorance. And I have to point it out to him again.
From where you sit in the witness box, if you had to rate the Attorney General's performance of your cross-examination, how would you rate it?
In fact, well, if it is a scale, if you give me a scale, maybe let's say a scale from...
A scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10. I'll give the Attorney General 3.
3?
Yeah, 3 over
3
10.
out of 10.
3 out of 10.
Yeah.
That will be 3. I'll give him 3 out of 10.
So that is Richard Jakwa speaking to the media after yesterday's court proceedings.
Yes. As to whether his rating has anything to have a bearing on the case before the court. It's also another issue altogether. Justice Ifeasewa Saribuchi will have that decision to make in relation to the testimonies, the relevance of all the submissions that were made before the court and all that. But Sami Jemfi, who is a National Communications Officer of the NDC, you notice that anytime the case is done, he step up to, as it is, address the media and tell us what they have gathered or they gathered from the proceedings. Let's hear from Sami Jemfi, the National Communications Officer of the NDC.
This man is a local champion only because he specializes in fixing matches. But you see, now that everybody is watching the proceedings and he has met his meter, Jakpa, you see how he's being exposed. You don't even read documents that you are cross-examining a witness on. You don't read. And you come and tell Jakpa that, look, read the Attorney General's letter. Where did he never, Dami was categorical, that the Attorney General never told government to establish a letter of credit. You were in court. Then Jakpa read it. When the Attorney General was clear that government is bound by the terms and should perform the terms. What are the terms? Key term is a letter of credit. So clearly, that is how bankrupt in knowledge related to this case this Attorney General is, and he's moving all over the place, you see, because he himself doesn't believe in this case. He says he was being pressured by Ken Ofori-Atta and Akufo-Addo to persecute Atto-Forsen and hope that they will win the case, go for a by-election, in the belief that Fantas are cheap and get one more seat that they don't deserve.
So that is the communications officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi, as well. Trust the politicians to look at it with the political lenses.
Of course. They have always got the eye to see what sometimes you yourself you win.
Absolutely.
But that is the game for you. The game of politics. Sometimes Honorable Ayiko Utu once upon a time told us that when you mount the political platform, there's something called Bishi. So when that Bishi it takes over. Absolutely. Sometimes you say things that before you realize, you ask yourself, is it really me?
You're in the ditch.
But let's hear from the Deputy Attorney General,
okay.
Alfred Chiayebua. He has also been responding to some of the things that happened in court and some of the positions of the other reactions that came through.
We're in court today. You heard issues about the post-inspection done by the former government, which the pastor said was done mischievously, not our works. He said it was done out of mischief. We're in court. Many people said that when it comes to the ambulance, they were not meant to be used. We're in court. You heard it. We're also in court. when it came to the date for the delivery of the ambulances, and then he said it was in January. And he finally had to come back home. He was also in court. And we heard about the ambulance having been delivered in 2014 December. So the previous government had over 2 years to have, if any, remedied the situation. Why not?
He said at the time he wasn't handed over to government. He was supposed to be kept at a safe place for the installation of the accessories, training of paramedics before it is handed over. So it will not be accurate to say that it had been handed over to government at the time. He explained it.
But you listened to him when he read the letters of Honorable Alex Segbefia, that those ambulances are vans, not my words, the words of Honorable Alex Segbefia. You also listened to his reading of the letters by Honorable Sherry Ayibi. It was said they were not vans and that they should stop manufacturing the said ambulance. So from all indications, you realize that what we have in court now, from the letters that he read, not our evidence, their evidence, the ambulances, with all due respect, from their own side, are vans. And with the vans, how do you use them?
Yeah, vans in the sense that it was not supposed to be used as ambulances at the time.
But you see, there was this issue about conversion. The AG decided to take him through that one, and he decided to just rely on the heading. That's in evidence. We decided to also let him know that you may have the heading there, but the details do not match what claimed to be the heading. And so the ambulances, as we have them now, you go through all the exhibits that we have in court, and you make your own judgments. As I said, I will not be making judgments here, but we have succeeded in putting across our case strongly that Mr. Jakwa gave his evidence in chief. He also confronted him to a side of the matter, and the judge definitely made the pronouncement on this matter.
Away from one of the things that Sammy Jeffy said, he described the Attorney General as a local champion who is only good at fixing matches. What would be your immediate response to this particular attack on the Attorney General?
It is rather unfortunate. My brother is a lawyer. The Honorable Attorney General is an astute lawyer. He's a well-read lawyer, a revered lawyer. He knows his stuff. And so if he decides to say that he's a match fixer, I mean, I don't understand him. Go to the law reports, go to the Supreme Court of Ghana law reports, and look at the case that he's done at the time that he was in private practice. And from 2016 to date, I can say without any fear of equivocation that if you look at the ages that we have in Ghana, if it's not the best, it may be one of the best when it comes to his courtroom appearance. And look at international arbitrations. An Attorney General who leads his team to go on a international arbitration and win cases internationally, not local. So if you say local champion, what does it mean? An Attorney General who is able to boost the staff strength of the ministry, giving them the training such that now we do not pay millions of dollars to external solicitors. Only few of them. Most of the cases that we have on arbitration, he leads. So does it mean that if he goes outside to fight those cases, he also goes there to face matches? I mean, it doesn't make sense if you say that he faces matches.
So that is the Deputy Attorney General
Alfred Chia Yeboah. So
I couldn't help but notice his dark shades yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe
it must have been very sunny.
He's such a nice gentleman in all that. So when you somebody asked me, he's always smiling.
Yes.
What's the secret? And I said I'll ask him one of these days. Yesterday I forgot. The next time I get to him, I'll find out from him. But it's always good to smile. I said when you smile, you keep the doctor away and all that. So when you keep a smiling face, you don't also grow old.
Hey.
Yes,
Professor.
You still.
Professor of Aging, thank you. Now let's
So
look at
that's what happened in relation to.
Let's look at what's going to happen
Yes.
today.
So just before I conclude on that, so
Okay.
Mr. Jakwa will be calling 8 witnesses.
He
Yes.
will call his witnesses.
Yes. So now this Mr. Jakwa is done, but he still has some witnesses to call.
Because
So,
his company will be
yes.
will be the next
So
in
the
line.
next witness is the representative of Big C General
Okay.
Trading. So he's expected to come on the 11th of July, and
Okay.
his testimony will be via video link.
Okay.
Because he will not be personally in the country and all
All
that.
right.
So that is what we do expect. There will be a break tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, and then
Yes.
Tuesday. So we'll come back next week Thursday.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the latest on the ambulance case.
All right. And
Jakpa
then-
is out of the witness box.
Now
because-
to the other cases,
Yes.
the treason felony case, that was adjourned, right?
Yes, yesterday he came on. Oliver Bakavoma wasn't present. His lawyers, led by Dr.
Sremsai?
Justice Sremsai, have filed an application for stay of proceedings. They want the court to refer certain provisions to the Supreme Court in relation to the matter, treason felony, 2 counts. But the court dismissed that. They want to appeal. So yesterday they filed a stay of proceeding. Prosecution said they haven't received it.
Okay.
So the case has been adjourned for them to be served, and the court will come back to deal with it before Justice Mary Mami Ekwe Yenzu. And yesterday was her birthday. So belated happy birthday to Justice Mary Mami Ekwe Yenzu. Yes.
Well done. You're able
Justice of
to
the High Court.
keep all their names in your head. That's fine. And today, what's going to happen today?
So today, the big one, the anti-gay bill, the controversy, that controversial case is back at the Supreme Court. For the second time, the Apex Court panel of 5, chaired by the Chief Justice, will be sitting on the 2 cases, one by Richard Delaskai and the other by Dr. Amanda Odoi.
Odoi.
You know names,
No.
names.
Don't come and give me the names lecture. Let's finish.
Okay, let's finish. So for the second time, the first time the Supreme Court sat on the matter was on May 8th, and that day the court lawyers of Richard Sky filed 2 motions. One, they wanted to amend some of their reliefs, and then the other, they wanted a stay of leave of the court to file supplementary affidavit. And the lawyers of Speaker Thaddeus Sorry, the Attorney General, initially opposed to some of them.
Okay.
But the court said, if you are filing a supplementary allowing you to correct some amendment and all that, it will make the processes very cumbersome. So the court said, after Mr. Sorry indicated to the court that then it will be prudent for them to file fresh motion papers and other processes so that it make the whole process is clean and complete. The court allowed that. They gave them up to May 17th to file.
May
So
17th?
to file.
Okay.
So that, and initially the case was adjourned indefinitely, sine die. But today it has been listed. So today the Supreme Court will sit on the matter and we'll know if everything is sorted. Then today we are going to hear arguments from all the parties in relation to the matter. Is both that of the, in fact, that of the Dr. Amanda's own lawyers of the Speaker were seeking leave to file further processes, and that was granted at the last court sitting. So we also know more in relation to that. So definitely, once the panel of 5 sit on the matter, we'll know what the decision will be. But what is clear is that those 2 cases will be heard by the Supreme Court, and the outcome of it will have a bearing. You know, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is saying that he won't receive the bill, he won't sign it because these 2 cases particularly are pending at the Supreme Court. And so as we speak, even though passed by Parliament, it is still sitting in Parliament. It hasn't been transmitted yet to the presidency, let alone for the president to look at it and decide whether to assent or not to assent. So we'll know more from the Supreme Court today in relation to these 2 cases.
And then the Beige Bank case?
Yes, Mr. Nyineku is expected to call his 16th defense witness or his sitting witness because he's the only accused person in the matter before Justice Ifiasewa Saribuchi. So we'll learn more later in the day in relation to this very case.
All right. Our legal affairs correspondent, Murtala Inusah, with those details there. Thank you very much. And in the course of the day, once that live telecast starts, rest assured that I would bring that to you right here on Starr 103.5 FM. Our sister station, GH1 Television, will also do same. Murtala?
Yes, so I wanted to mention that this LGBT anti-gay bill will be televised live. So the CJ has, because of the public interest and all that, has given the directive for that to happen. But just before I go, I have a message for you from my senior man, Mr. James Kofi Mason.
Okay.
Yes, he works with customs. So anytime you are passing through the airport, you can,
I should
Terminal
look for
3,
James
yes.
Mason.
Kofi Mason.
James
Yes,
Kofi Mason.
yes.
Okay.
Senior Mason is listening to you, so good morning to you, Senior Mason.
Good morning.
He's always been an
Senior
ardent
Mason.
listener of Starr FM.
Oh,
so
that's
every
lovely.
day, yes.
That's lovely. Good to have you as a loyal listener. And thank you very much for the support. We really value it and appreciate it. Murtala, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dedei. Have a great day.
We'll do this again tomorrow.
Sure.
And we have some more to bring your way. This is the Morning Star here on Star 103.5 FM. This is a song I've been listening to all morning, and I thought that it would be good to share it with you. It's Hall of Fame by The Script.